Stand by to fall in, Polk County. This is today's veteran. Hello and welcome, and on behalf of everyone at the Polk County Office of Veteran Services, thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Tim Kirkhart, and on this installment of today's Veteran, we talk with Gary Coleman and Daniel Coy with Career Source Polk about some of the programs they have for veterans. Career Source Polk is a nonprofit corporation that oversees the state and federal funds dedicated to preparing and upgrading a skilled workforce. They help thousands of businesses find employees and remain leaders within their industry. Helping veterans find employment through job referral services, job development, job training, and career management is one of the many things they do at Career Source Polk. Every veteran receives priority service and will be seen by their first available employment security representative, who will be able to assist them in developing an individual plan of action by assessing their skill level, education, and training. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Let's get started. What is Career Source Polk? What does that mean?
Career Source Polk is a workforce employment center. It's actually the state workforce office. So in our community, we have two offices. We have the office in Lakeland, which is located at 309 North Ingram Avenue in Lakeland, Florida. And then we have another office, a second office in Winter Haven, and that address is 500 East Lake Howard Drive. And what we do there, we assist veterans, and it's open to the public, but we focus with veterans, we work with veterans. So we assist veterans to help them find employment, help them with any educational goals that they might have, and basically we work with them to guide them or provide counseling or career guidance to essentially help them to achieve economic self-sufficiency.
Is the Career Source Polk, is it set up primarily for veterans? You said anybody can come in, but is there a priority for veterans?
Well, we do offer priority for veterans, which is essentially a head of a line privilege. You come in, say there's a number of people ahead of you. You'll actually be served by the next available staff member. Excuse me. We also have all different kind of programs for all different sort of needs. What veterans for Gary and I, that's our focus.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Dan. Where did you come from? Tell us about your military service and how you may have gotten to where you are today.
So I'm originally from Chicago, and I joined the Marines in '86. Served from '86 to '92. I came, and I was actually, when I was going to school, I became what they call a student vet, which is a VA work study. So I worked for one of the veteran representatives at that time it was the One Stop, now Career Source Polk. When I graduated my college, I became a social worker for a contract program to DCF, and I did that for 14 years. And now I find myself back at Career Source Polk as a DVOP.
Okay. How about you, Gary? Tell us a little bit how you got to where you are now.
Well, I grew up in Pennsylvania, and kind of always knew I was going to be in the military in some capacity. So, but first I went to college, obtained my degree in communications, took a lot of journalism, television production courses. But after working and here and there in the different industries related to television, film, decided to go ahead and do something that I've told myself I was going to do anyway, which was going to the military. So I joined the Navy and did 2 years in the Navy. I worked in the legal office, working for the Judge Advocate General. And then after leaving the Navy, I started working in the workforce maybe around 2000. So I worked in the workforce, that was in the state of Oregon, eventually moved to Florida, kind of was in and out, and now I'm back in the workforce as far as working with veterans. And here I am in Lakeland as a DVOP.
Tell our audience what that means.
It stands for Disabled Veteran Outreach Program, and both Gary and I were specialists. So we work with a certain population of veterans. All veterans are served at CareerSource Polk, and like I mentioned, get priority of service. So all of our staff members have been trained to understand the needs of the veteran and to help them get what they come for at CareerSource Polk.
I understand there's a website for jobs and things like that. Tell us about that.
Sure. Okay, so it's CareerSourcePolk.com, and it's for both employers and job seekers. They talk about all the programs that we have available. It makes any kind of news announcements, closings, openings, any special events. We often have recruitment events, so all this information is readily available on this website.
Okay. And what about somebody who may come in and doesn't understand the computer?
If someone comes in and they might need extra assistance on a computer, we have individuals in what we call the resource room, where we keep computers for the public. And whether it's our primary staff or frontline staff, or we also have AARP members that come in and also work with us to help others who need to use computers and access computers. And then we also have like a computers 101 type class where we're shown how to use employflorida.com, which is our other website. And that's our website for job seekers and employers to post job postings and things of that nature.
Let me ask you this, can an individual, even a veteran, access without coming into the office? I mean, and what would you recommend somebody to do?
I would recommend actually coming in and sitting down with one of our staff. You create a profile on what's called the Employ Florida Marketplace, which is the statewide system. It's where all of our jobs are placed. We have a resume builder on there. We have virtual agents, which is like a virtual recruiter where you can specify certain criteria for a job search and then receive notifications daily or weekly. There's all sorts of tools on this website. It can also refer you to training. Okay, so it's a good idea to come in. Like Gary mentioned, we do have workshops which teach you the basics, so you're able to navigate and you have a good understanding of some of the functions available. Also on the website, we have training for the individual user through videos. Come in, you set up a profile, you post a resume. Employers can then access the resume. We also have a section under for your background, so you can list some of the skills, some of the, for example, the equipment that you can use, your tools, the technology. From there, that helps create up enhance your profile so employers can come, and then when they search for candidates, based on your results, you may go higher on the list according to what their needs are.
You say an employer can list their jobs. Do they have to see someone or talk to somebody at CareerSource Polk, or do they have access themselves?
We have a business services team that works hand in hand with employers. So it all depends on the employer. Some employers are more hands-on. They want to go in and post their job orders themselves. All we do at that point is we verify the job order, make sure the employer is really, this is what you're seeking. So that way when our staff is meeting with individuals from the public, speaking with veterans, we can assess the criteria of the candidate, as far as not criteria, but assess their skills to see if they match the criteria in the job order. And that's what we do on our side.
It's either or. You can come in as an employer or as a job seeker, or you can do a big part of it at home, or as long as you have access to a computer.
Right.
Anywhere that you have access to the internet, you can access the website. Of course, you have your login credentials, so it's going to be private. I always tell people it's really nice because, say you just had a baby and you're up at 2 in the morning. Well, you can log in. If you can't go back to sleep, you can log in. You can do whatever you need to do. And, it's not where you have to wait for the office to open to be able to come in and get that same work done.
As you both know, I used to work at the employment service. It was known as the unemployment service. Then it was Polk Works. Tell me about unemployment, because we were constantly called the unemployment office.
Right.
Does that still exist, that people call CareerSource Polk the unemployment office?
People still come in seeking assistance with unemployment, but primarily we don't do unemployment. That's not,
Yeah.
we are the employment office. We want to help you find a job, enhance your career, find a new career, transition from one career to another, maybe get the skills you need for a career, the training you might need for a career. So our focus is employment. You know, if you have a job and you're seeking a better job, let us know. If you're in school and you think that you still need certain skills to get to the career you're looking for, let us know. And that's what we're really promoting. We want veterans and really anyone from the public, we want you to come in and talk to us so we can find out your needs, your service needs, and we can put together some form of plan or give you some form of guidance and assist you with your job search, career search, and things of that nature.
So there's a lot going on at Career Source Polk.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Listen, can you guys stick around and we can talk a little bit more about job readiness and things that you guys do there?
Yeah, sure, we could stick around too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We'll be back with more of today's veteran right after this. Hi, and welcome back to this edition of Today's Veteran. We're going to continue now with CareerSource Polk, Daniel Coy, and Gary Coleman. Welcome back, guys.
All right,
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to talk a lot more about CareerSource Polk and some of the things that you as veteran representatives and as the employment service reps do there. Let's talk, we began a little bit about job readiness. Let's talk a little bit about career guidance that's offered at CareerSource Polk. Who can tell us about that?
Career guidance. Well, essentially, all of our customers get career guidance. Well, at least anyone that's looking for employment. What we do is we work one-on-one with our customers, our employment security reps, as well as us as the Disabled Veterans Outreach Program Specialist. When I sit down with a veteran, it's kind of a conversation to begin with, where we're kind of just trying to find out the veteran's story, like what's going on, like where are they at right now, and where do they want to be, what skills do they have, and then it kind of grows into an assessment at that point, where we're making determinations, working together to determine, what would be the best approach to find the result that they're trying to achieve. So as far as career guidance, I can't really give you one clear-cut definition because every individual is different. We have some individuals come in and all they need is a certificate to get to where they want to be, and others might need 4 years of college, or someone else might just need a copy of a form and learn how to fax the information over, or things like that. So it all comes down to speaking with the person. That's why we encourage everyone to just come into the office, so that way we can begin the process of helping them.
When somebody comes in, a veteran comes in, do they, as far as assessment, I mean, you talk to them generally.
Right.
Tell us about the testing programs or something that Career Scope or something like that might help them. Is that does everybody get that, or is that your interpretation
Sure.
of what they need?
So Tim, it's available to everyone. Okay, it depends on what their needs are. As Gary said, we try to take an approach to the individual. We try to get to where that individual is and meet what their needs are. Okay, so if they come in and they're really unsure what they want to do, for example, I met with a veteran, he's been an electrician for most of his life, decides I don't want to do that anymore, but I don't know what I want to do. So that would be a tool that's available to us to maybe help him get an understanding of what he's interested in.
Tell us about the WIOA program.
Sure.
And I know over the years it's been called a lot of different things. When I worked there to begin with, it was called CETA, and I know it's changed names.
Yeah.
Tell us about that and how that can help.
So the WIOA program, it's a very good program. You get one-on-one assistance with a case manager. You'll go in and you'll get an assessment to determine what your vocational skills are. If you do not have the vocational skills that are in demand in the area, they may choose to either help you with job placement or even offer financial assistance for some sort of vocational training. So it's a good tool for both Gary and I to use. If a veteran comes to us and, say for example, they're just coming out of the military, their occupation may be specific to a military occupation, where you can't come into this civilian world and get that job, and they may need some sort of training.
Okay. Tell us about resume service and maybe a little bit about how a veteran comes out of the service and he speaks veteran language.
Sure.
Can he or she put that veteran language in a resume?
It's not recommended. Not for, well, it depends. Again, every situation is different. So we got to look at the situation. What types of job is the individual applying to? Is it a federal job? Then you might want to have some of that jargon. But for standard jobs in the community, called civilian jobs, I guess, we try to translate that jargon into civilian terms. So we do see that a lot. Resume, might talk about forward operating bases and things of that nature. So you got to find a way to communicate what that really means as far as the work that you did, the value of that work, and the impact that work had, So what we do is we work with them in crafting a resume that speaks to that person's credentials. So again, it just comes out of communication, being able to speak with someone, find out what they did, and put that into other terms that the average person can understand. As far as human resources officers, hiring managers, they can pick up the resume and see that this person is someone that they might want to talk to.
You mentioned earlier Employ Florida Marketplace. Does a veteran or any other job seeker, when they register, do they have to do a resume? Is a resume part of the registration process?
You don't have to. It's highly recommended. Again, we talked about applying for different positions. You can actually apply directly through the website, where all you have to do is follow the instructions, click a few buttons, and your information is sent to the employer. I would say the majority of the time the employer is asking for a resume, and so we actually can select a resume that's been uploaded or created on Employ Florida and send that directly to the employer. We can also have attachments, different type of file types that we can send to that employer straight from the Employ Florida Marketplace.
Tell me about some of the other areas at Career Source Polk. I know they have, back at my day, we had food stamp employment and training and these other things. Can you kind of expound on that a little bit and tell us some of the other programs?
We have so many programs available to the public, to veterans, to everyone. You mentioned the food stamps. I actually worked in that for a little while. Now it's called SNAP ENT. Okay. We have a career resource room we sort of mentioned earlier, where we have computers and faxes and copiers. We have staff that will help guide you with whatever you're trying to do. We have telephones if you need to make calls. We have a job readiness workshop. It'll be starting back up again in January, which any kind of employment need that you can imagine, we have a dedicated staff that will have 4 or 5 hour workshops every day to help give you that knowledge and get you better prepared for your job search. We have many workshops that we do. We have outreach programs that go into different locations, like Gary and I. They go into jails and try to reach the population there. We have mentioned the Career Scope. We have a learning and assessment center. You can actually take tutorials on different, for example, Microsoft products to help improve your skills. So you can go to an employer and say, yes, I can do Microsoft Word, I can do Microsoft Excel, I can use these business software applications. We mentioned WIOA. We have a program if you're getting out of the military and say you're under 24 years old. We have actually a young leaders program that helps work with people of that age population. Let me check my list here. We have a mobile career source, which is a giant RV, and it has computers and telephones and copiers, and we actually have staff that'll go in. Everything that we do inside the inside Career Source, we can go out and with the mobile unit and do it in a community.
Right. The mobile one stop gives us access to areas in the county that are further out, where individuals might say they don't have a car and they live on, in a certain area. So we try to get out into the community so they can see that we are here to assist them. Yeah. And the mobile one stop is a great, mobile one stop. It's a great tool for that.
What about a job seeker who doesn't have transportation, doesn't have child care? Because I know a lot of veterans that are getting out now are female or married, and they have children. Are there resources available, or community resources available for
There's
them?
community resources available. Also in the welfare transition program, they may help get some sort of child care referral. It depends. It's, again, like as Gary mentioned, case-by-case basis. Also, veterans, on your state of Florida driver's license, if you have a V on there for veteran, you can ride the local area buses for free. You can use your VA card if you have one.
How much does this cost somebody who's looking for a job? What are your fees?
Yeah.
What do you charge?
We don't charge anything. This is a service that's free of cost to the public. We are here to assist the public. We're here to assist veterans to help them to obtain self-sufficiency, to go from one level to another level. As far as you might have someone that's making minimum wage and they aspire to do more or earn more or to improve in certain ways. and that's what we're here for. We don't charge fees. In fact, at times we'll have employers that would we call recruitment events. We work with employers that come to our office to make it more convenient, where an employer actually comes to our office and hires from the office, does interviews. Sometimes there's some testing involved. If the job might have a certain test that goes along with the test, the individual might be able to take the test that day. So we try to make it as convenient as possible for our customers, our veterans, the general public. That's what we're here for.
We coordinate with different community programs. We actually have GED instructors. If they go and enroll in the adult schools and they say it's more convenient for me to come to CareerSource Polk, we have teachers there. As Gary said, even when you talked about the cost, say, Tim, you come in and you don't have maybe the appropriate clothing for an interview, we have a clothes closet where we have shoes, pants, belts, shirts, ties, things that are appropriate for girls for interviews. And that's, again, we do an assessment with you. You just communicate, hey, this is what I have. If we have an employer on site, we'll send you up there. We'll get you taken care of.
Well, it sounds like CareerSource Polk is the place to be if you're looking for a job or as a veteran seeking assistance.
That's right. Yep.
Listen, guys, we're out of time. I want to thank you for being here today and for helping our veterans and general job seekers.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
Tim.
you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate being here. Thank you.
And for veterans wishing to find out more about CareerSource Polk, you can look them up on the web, www.careersourcepolk.com, or give them a call at 863-508-1100. That's going to do it for this edition of Today's Veteran. I want to thank our guests today, Gary Coleman and Daniel Coy. But most of all, I want to thank you for joining us. Remember, for help and information regarding claims, benefits, and services available to veterans and their families, call the Polk County Veterans Service Office at 863-534-5220 or log on to the Polk County website at polk-county.net. I'm your host, Tim Kirkhart, and we will see you next month.